I hope everyone will agree that the Allies' vision is very exciting. And it is a real pleasure for me to hear this presentation and feel that, yes, they've got the finger on the pulse, and there is such latent opportunity. And I can say this as a surveyor in the property industry, there's such latent opportunity very close to the heart of Guildford. Sites that are capable of development, the riverside that's capable of being opened up. And it's sad that there's not a lot happened in the town, you could say, for the last 30 or 40 years. But on the other hand, it's left an unblemished opportunity for people like this to come along and deliver great things. So thank you, Anthony, and thank you, Guildford Council, for commissioning a plan to explore the possibilities. And I think it's fair to say the council have listened, and they've instructed Allies, and I am very grateful, and I think we should acknowledge that. What we really need though, and you need to know that Allies' instruction was not to deal with transportation. It was not to deal with viability and feasibilities. They had a very short period in which to give us a taste as to what's achievable. So their solution actually is really about the built environment rather than dealing with the traffic. And what we really need, if we are to emulate Oxford and Cambridge and Bath and Winchester, virtually any quality town in Britain and Europe, is to take the traffic away. If we take traffic from Onslow Street, Bridge Street, Friary Bridge, and open up the town to the riverside with walkways, cafe culture, new squares and boulevards, what an opportunity. So here's the Allies plan, but we've actually looked at going a stage further. So, yes. So, I hope you can hear me. So what we've got is the river here. There's bridges, Bridge Street and Friary and Town Bridge, and you suddenly have all the white, which should be red, I'm afraid, but there we go. All the white areas are pedestrianised, and the ability to deliver a market square and have development sites fronting the river and fronting pedestrianised streets rather than being stuck in the middle of the gyratory. And that is part of the opportunity that we see. Suddenly we have a riverside town, a whole new place to enjoy with room for new homes, shops, markets, leisure, culture and business space. Using the nearby dormant sites, and I think there are 11 sites in and around Guildford, we can create a town centre, the like of which is difficult to envisage today, with all the space released, planned and then delivered. If we continue this transition along the Way corridor to Ladymead, both sides of the river, that's both sides with walkways, with a new residential quarter, we calculate we might deliver 2,000 to 4,000 new homes over a 5 to 10 year period. This can keep the town vibrant and provide a stunning waterside community, close to station, shopping, cultural facilities, and, importantly, relieve some of the pressure on Greenbelt. But how? Well, first we need to remove the traffic from the town centre. Then what? You can open up the riverside, you can connect the key places to within the town. It is bizarre to me that the town has a very poor access to the station and then a poor access onto the cathedral, a poor access onto the university. They must be major targets. You create new retail, residential, cultural and business space with 6 sites. You make a better transportation hub. We can deliver a stellar town with some great places from taking the traffic out of the town centre. A whole new traffic-free district. Now, this is no easy fix. It will take radical action. But less prosperous towns across the UK, suffering from high unemployment, failing industries and urban decline, have had to take radical action to deal with their problems. We have similar problems, failing infrastructure, shortage of homes and empty sites, but we also have prosperity and property values to facilitate development. We just have to use our land resources in a much more efficient and joined-up fashion, which has never happened before in Guildford. Making the best of Guildford simply cannot happen with ad hoc development. We need master planning beyond the gyratory as far as Ladymead. However, we must also be a modern, successful transportation hub, coping with the needs of the community, business, visitors, serving the needs of inward and outward commuters. So how do we remove the traffic and deliver these objectives? What is the reality? Julian.
So, traffic in the town centre has been the scourge of us all. The one-way system is at best fragile, even now. One of the key components of the existing system is the short legs between traffic lights. All too often, the system is snarled up, but some lanes remain empty. And of course, this is all so much worse since the Debenham subway was filled in. We have attempted to show, using data collected by number plate recognition in 2011, just how much traffic uses each segment of road every hour at its peak. The image on the left shows the picture from 2011 data. The darker red on the gyratory shows that more than 1,800 vehicles are on each segment every hour, 30 every minute. The image on the right shows that by 2026, based on a rather unscientific prorated increase at the same rate as the number of households is projected to grow, the system will have us coping with 10 more cars every minute at peak times. That should truly horrify us all, and so something clearly has to be done about it. There will be about as many cars on each leg of the system as there were at peak times in 2010, going southbound on the A3 from the Cathedral exit to the Farnham Road exit. And of course, all this traffic is belching fumes and occupying the space all around our riverside. No wonder the national multiple deprivation indices ranks the surrounding area within the worst 2.5% in the country for outdoor environment. And this is all right by our river. Taking Steve's comments to heart, we can go back to 1845, before cars were invented, the year the first part of the Farnham Road Bridge was built. The other part, the steel part, was built in the 1880s. We still didn't have cars on the road. That was the last time a new crossing was built over the river. Not only is it imperative, therefore, that we reclaim our riverside, as Allies Morrison have shown us, we must also get the traffic out of the gyratory and connect East and West Guildford. And the town must function at least as well as it does today, if not better. So we believe the fundamental need is another crossing over the railway line and the river to take traffic from the town centre, actually creating an enhanced transportation interchange around the station, whilst allowing full pedestrianisation and enabling what we called for pretty much in the first place in our document, Guildford on the Way. This heat map also indicates that it can work even with the new 20-year housing growth. But before traffic engineers in the House start getting excited and giving me a hard time, we actually need to identify the right route and specifications to ensure that the system works properly. It should be said that this layout should require only 4 junctions and with quite some distance between each to allow greater capacity per metre of road than the gyratory system can offer.
Can everyone see the plan on the screen? And can you understand the layout? This is right. This is. I thought not. Unfortunately, these slides come out wonderfully well on little computer screens, and then you put them on the overhead. But basically, can you see the dots? Can you see the dots? That's good. Right, so there's the station. Here's Bridge Street. Here's Onslow Street. Here's Friary Bridge. And there's North Street and there's High Street, with the river running through the centre. So the idea is, at the junction here, or just beyond the police station, there's the police station, is to run a road somewhere. Basically, one has to get from A here to B here, the other side of the railway, to take all the traffic which currently runs through the heart of the town round this way and out to the south or up Farnham Road to the west. So this is envisaged as a new road and bridge crossing over the railway and over the river to take all the traffic and leave the whole of the heart of the town traffic-free with access for buses and taxis and service vehicles.
Is that a north-south route to the west of the station? The two bits of red have a break.
There is a huge area between the north-south main railway line and the residential areas here. And that, we think, is a real opportunity to run the road below and a large arrival point above it for taxis and dropping off and collection. So it would really be moving a lot of the activity to the west side, to the Farnham Road side of the station, using an area which is currently a parking place for two railway lines, which we've spoken to Network Rail, and it isn't essential. It is something they use a lot at the moment, but the Solum, who are a joint venture of Network Rail, thought that it might be available in the kind of plan time we're talking about. So that would be a big concourse on the west side for all the activity we would want, which is buses and taxis, and that would leave the riverside as pedestrians able to get to the town centre without being run over by heavy goods vehicles. So,
the town bridge is going to become a town.
And the town bridge, which looks a charming historic bridge, but actually is not. It's rolled steel joists put there quite recently with two bolt-on panels and a nice camber put on it to make it look historic. But that bridge, yes, that bridge would become used. And unfortunately, you will never have a perfect solution where you tick every wish list. You just have to have one or two things which you'd prefer not to, but that really enable the whole exercise to operate. That allows us to take the traffic at the first available time without putting it into the heart of onto the old gyratories. Let's not get stuck in detail. There is a huge amount of design work and exploration to see whether you put roads above or lower level, where you'd put parking and access for a new arrival point for the station. So, the gist of this exercise, though, is trying to deliver a new town centre and delivering one that's traffic-free. And this delivers so many opportunities for environmental improvements, sustainable development and placemaking over the next decade. We've shown the road running over the town bridge, which may concern some people, but this is effectively only an extension of the Shalford Road. The immediate environmental benefits are clear. From the High Street to the station is pedestrian priority. The area around the riverside is ripe for regeneration, and the air quality in the town centre will be vastly improved. We might even be able to finally break down the 40-year-old fortress walls and remove the offices that jut out unattractively over the road. So the main ideas are get the heart of the town operating properly. Town centres themselves are infrastructure. And if traffic's running through it, they don't operate as a successful town centre. We've plenty of examples of historic towns now across Britain where that's the case. Secondly, we need to deliver a successful transportation hub. I won't go into the GTAM's golden thread, but the Council have commissioned from Arup a method of moving traffic around with a modal shift away from vehicles. They've got some very good ideas, and we would embrace those ideas, and we'd hope to incorporate them. Get the town centre operating as a place for homes. Town centre living is the basis of a thriving economy. But you need to plan and implement. And this little bar at the bottom has, which you can hardly see the word bad, but it's ad hoc and piecemeal development on the left, which is what often one is faced with, master planned and adopted in the local plan for a gradual transition, and that's better. And then finally on the right-hand side, master planned and implemented, and that, of course, is best. Too many local plans and master plans do end up on shelves gathering dust, and that's our challenge. So, the next thing is delivering homes. Julian.
Thanks, John. Well, the great thing about having a town centre environment everybody wants to be in is that people actually want to live there. The vitality they bring enhances the dawn-to-dusk activity, and the evening economy may even encourage more diners to sit out on a summer's evening by the riverside. This is all so much more viable if there is a good size of population in the town centre, and I don't mean we need to cram people into areas that are already struggling to provide a good environment. I mean we need to provide a great environment where people want to live. We've been listening to the housing debate, how many homes and where. We've been looking at the latent potential for using land in areas such as Walnut Tree Close and Woodbridge Meadows. Where businesses can be relocated, they will take about the same amount of land as they do now. Housing could be provided at greater density than on the outskirts of town. If, for the sake of argument, we had twice the density than on the outskirts, close to the centre of town, it goes without saying that we would use half of the land for the same number of homes. The development of areas such as this need careful planning. They need to respect the existing communities. They need to preserve the existing jobs. They need to be planned to protect occupants against flooding. We firmly believe, however, that a comprehensive approach to development will bring about attractive homes above concealed semi-basement parking, and this could enable us to deliver a linear park along both banks of the River Wey. Of course, there will be debates about building heights and the like. Now is not the time to get hung up on those, but suffice it to say that Walnut Tree Close is 3 to 5 stories below the level of the University roadway, and most of the views are looking down towards the river, a feature of our gap town.
Again, I'm just going to ask if people understand this drawing. This is showing the River Wey from the station here to the A3 and Ladymead. And there's Walnut Tree Close. And the plan that we are proposing would change the planning use of this area to residential. So we calculate that that could deliver between 2,000 and 4,000 homes in a 10, maybe 15-year period. But it needs to be master planned, and that's the way you will get the parkland and the riverside walks and all the kind of things that we aspire to.
We're showing this slide not because this is necessarily the answer, but it's an answer. There's going to be some question about where you could relocate businesses from Walnut Tree Close. This as an answer provides expansion of the Slyfield estate. It provides a park and ride at the end of the golden thread that John referred to earlier on. And it also links into the SANG, which is the Sustainable Alternative Natural Green Space that we need to protect a couple of birds in the woods somewhere. Now, I think that this should all come, if it's going to happen in this location, it should all come with an all-direction junction on the A3, easing the pressures on London Road and helping to reduce the burden on the Woking Road, and generally ensuring business has good access to the road network, and vice versa. Again, we're running the risk of creating a debate about a specific site. The talk is not really about the housing number or the green belt. We began this talk by talking about the riverside and the town centre. So let's go back to John.
So, how close can we get? And I've put a list there and a few ticks against them. Traffic removed from the gyratory, yes. Riverside opened up in the town, yes. Connections in place or deliverable. That's the connections between the university, cathedral, station, town centre. New residential sites for homes and for business and for culture. 6 major sites created. And it's the sites which will pay for a lot of the project. Improved transportation hub, a stellar town with a vibrant day, time and evening economy, and placemaking for long-term prosperity and well-being. But it comes only with a bridge crossing. So, conclusion. It's challenging, no question about that. It's demanding, but it is potentially game-changing for Guildford. It solves in part the pressure on the greenbelt, the town centre deterioration, the underused waterfront and the derelict sites. The town hasn't got a town square. It can give us a town square. It can give us boulevards and new civic space. It directly connects to a new riverway residential quarter. For the first time in living memory, well, certainly this century, it takes a joined-up approach to real town planning in Guildford, and it's through delivering a bridge. So that's the end of a description on what we have been looking at in Guildford. But I wanted just to do an overlay because cement and reinforced concrete and glass doesn't necessarily mean a nice environment. And that is firstly you've got to come up with solutions, then you've got to create places, and then you've got to have a vision of the atmosphere that you want. And I've just put a few photographs together, and apologies to my wife who's here because she's seen them when we took them earlier this summer. But I hope it just gives you a glimpse of the kind of things which we're talking about. Now, this is Montpellier, and Montpellier did exactly the same as we're doing, as we're hoping to do, which is to take the dual carriageway out of the heart of the town. And there they've created marvellous squares with fountains, and on where the dual carriageway, the main roads were, they have markets and festivals, and it is just a hive of activity. Here's Nîmes. Nîmes has done exactly the same, a €35 million master planning and implementation scheme, and you come out of Nîmes station, instead of having a dual carriageway full of traffic and heavy vehicles, you've got this wonderful walkway, which is a combination of pedestrianised tree-lined boulevard, a little water feature which all the children play in, and a service road for the buses and taxis and access to the homes. This is Como in northern Italy, where more of a comparable climate to the UK, but again, they've taken the traffic out of the heart of the town and created lovely squares. This is Charleston, South Carolina, where they suffer from hurricanes. And one of the big things you'll hear about Walnut Tree Close is flooding. It is very difficult to deal with flooding, designing one building only, because it just doesn't solve the issues that are raised. But South Carolina, where they're used to tides coming in, they've just designed all the waterfront, so the ground floor is parking, the public areas can easily be hosed down, and it's one in however many years flooding situation, but they gear up to it, but they can only do it through proper design and master planning. Open markets. I mean, markets to me are absolutely fantastic. They're the difference in visiting a town through getting a thrill and the excitement of walking around, and they're not expensive to provide. And here we've got some photographs, one in Charleston, which is the top two. One's inside and one's an outside shop, just simple walls, a roof and tables, and the stallholders come every morning, and then in the evening they take their products away. And that's great. And then in France, of course, famous for their great markets, but even in northern France, which the suspended photograph is, they actually cope with the weather. And then this last slide is the effect of high-quality finishes and paving. And all of these photographs have been recently paved, cobbled, put with marble and water features. And so it's those things that we've got to have great attention to detail to, so that we solve the big placemaking challenges in the town. We solve the built environment, the buildings that we want to put there, but you've also got to give great attention to make them, to having the markets and really exciting features and being able to enjoy the riverside. And I thought Anthony's photograph of Richmond Riverside, and I hope some of you have seen that, was such a good explanation of why we can do the same in Guildford. So, the objective, Julian.
Right, so this is where we may need to ask you for something. You're probably aware that there are some consultations going on at the moment. The due date for the local plan and the town centre vision responses is the 22nd of September. And being so bold as to assume that you're broadly in agreement with what we've presented this evening, we would like you to write in support of the town centre vision, but refer to the need for the traffic to be removed from the town centre and press for a new bridge. I think you should also send your vision submission as a response to the local plan consultation to make sure it's given weight in both documents. We need the council to keep going with its leadership in terms of the town centre, and I have to say it's been a complete sea change. We're delighted that so much has been taken on board in these last few months. And we want to make sure that there's quality implementation of the master plan, with the bridge, of course. And we'd like to see Walnut Tree Close zoned for residential. We'd like this to be a master plan development rather than piecemeal implementation. That will need to be designated so in the local plan, so it will need some response to that consultation. I think if we had piecemeal development along Walnut Tree Close, I like to think of it in terms of imagining that the Royal Crescent in Bath was built by 30 different developers. You can come up with a stunning development if you plan it all, and you can come up with something less than that if you don't. We're going to continue to work with and keep pressure on the council to ensure that the stellar town that we all crave is delivered within the next 10 years or so, rather than being a pipe dream for another generation, whilst ours allows the buildings to be constructed that close off any truly viable options. It really all is to play for.
Thank you.